over.
You have not seen what I have seen.
I have seen my share.
You have not seen what I have seen.
You serious?
What's up, everyone? It's Tyler Shelton. This is Coffee with a Beauty Reviewer. I'm your friendly neighborhood coffee snob. And today, folks, is going to be my review for the first 2 episodes of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. So, and I just want to say, what the f***? Okay, I just have to first off say is that this is a movie that made me both excited and skeptical in intellectual property. More specifically, it's the Lord of the Rings IP. So the fact is, I love J.R.R. Tolkien's work. I love The Hobbit. I love Lord of the Rings, The Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, Baron and Luthien. He's written such incredible book novels throughout his entire life. He has a full world that he developed all by himself, and his son carried on his legacy, Christopher Tolkien. He finished up a lot more stories that his father started, and he had to finish them. And so it's just more kind of like, this is a world that I love from head to toe. It's just one of those IPs that you cannot mess it up. I've loved the movies, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I really thought that The Hobbit was kind of like mediocre at most. But when you look at this TV series, like it definitely felt very episodic between 1 and 2. So I really appreciated that they actually made it feel like there was an actual TV show. So that's a plus. But I'm just going to tell you the good things that came out of this. I actually thought that the dwarves, Casa Doom, which we all know as Moria, that was just, it was just fantastic. Like, it was so great to see Casa Doom back in the day when it was actually a really high elevated realm of the dwarves. It was just a real sight to see the cinematography underneath the mountains, and more specifically that even the cinematography was beautiful. And without a doubt, like, it is absolutely great to see New Zealand again. Like, they filmed all the stuff in New Zealand, which makes it great. Well, not really great, but it's just more kind of like this. They're going back to what made Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit so good, is that they filmed everything all in New Zealand, and they wanted to do the same thing in this. And there was actually some locations in New Zealand that I recognized. And so that was just fantastic. But that's where all the good is. But I have to say is that the one thing that really irritated me to the utmost highest elevation ever was Galadriel. Galadriel, I love that character. She is among one of the most captivating characters in Tolkien lore, because more specifically is that she is a powerful, beautiful elf. That she's actually one of those elves that goes all the way back to almost the beginning of the entire realm of Numenor, Middle Earth. So like, this is a character that has seen a lot. That it also includes another character that we all know and love, Elrond, and we all know who he was. Yeah, that's right, he was Mr. Smith. He is definitely one of my favorite actors that is working to this day. He's just really developed his acting abilities. He's a real kick-ass actor, and the guy that they casted to play this character, what were they thinking? But still, I actually did appreciate what they did with the character. More specifically is that, like, I really enjoyed that they're showing this kind of like a friendship that he has with Durin, which is actually the Prince Dwarf. of Casa Doom. So like, you can definitely see that there's a little bit of intrigue. You're kind of going like, okay, so like, there's some friendship thing going on here, kind of like how Legolas was with Gimli, that they were bitter rivals, but then they became like best friends. So I'm just really appreciating that they're kind of like doing some little nods to like some elements within the Tolkien lore that we all actually know and love. So it was great to see kind of like this whole story that they're doing with Elrond. I think it's a little bit interesting, and not to mention that he's actually possibly going to be indirectly responsible for the creation of the One Ring, because he is now on this little side quest with Celebrimbor. And if you don't know who that character is that Celebrimbor is more directly responsible for the creation of the One Ring and all of the other rings of power that the elves had, the dwarves had, and the men. So like, you definitely see that there is some lore being built up, and that's part of the intrigue that I actually appreciated about this series. But more than that is that like, I still feel like that this was a slow burn. Not really a slow burn. The first episode, it only had one good moment, and that is when you actually got to see Sauron, and that was like the most badass moment in the entire episode 1. Then in the second episode, I actually do think that the second episode was a lot better than the first, but by a little. But I have to go back to what I was talking about with Galadriel, is that she pissed me off so many times. She kept on talking down to everyone. I mean, everyone. And just the fact that she did like this matrix move to take on a snow troll, that it only took her 15 seconds when it actually took 15 minutes for the entire fellowship, which included a wizard, an elf, a dwarf, a powerful man, 4 hobbits. It took the entire team to kill one dwarf. So that is the very thing that just pisses me off of what they were doing, is that they really made Galadriel to look like she's all OP. There's no character development. There's no buffer zone to like emphasize her character. It just really pissed me off that they just like dissed on the Fellowship, that it took them a long time to kill one cave troll when it took Galadriel only 15 seconds to kill a troll. So like, there is just a lot of things that they did with Galadriel that really pissed me off, because like I said, Galadriel is one of my favorite elven characters from Tolkien's work, alongside with Legolas, Thranduil. Like, there's a lot of great elven characters, and that includes Galadriel. But it really felt like there was a complete middle finger to us fans of how they had Galadriel portrayed. It just made me mad. But aside from the whole thing about Galadriel, because I really do think that the Galadriel story was the weakest out of all the other arcs that is happening within these 2 episodes. Like, you got Galadriel, her story, then you got Elrond's story, then you got these Hardfoots, which are basically hobbits, and they should not be in this story, because this is 1,000 years before hobbits even appeared in Middle-earth. Then you got this mystery man who looks a lot like Gandalf. So like, there is a lot of characters that should not be in this time period. But aside from that, there is still really beautiful things to look at, like the cinematography, the landscaping. And I'm actually kind of excited to see what they're going to do with the dwarves specifically, because the whole story of Durin, because I actually really think that by the end of this season that Durin is going to be killed off, because there is one creature that actually kills Durin, and then all of a sudden he goes by the name of Durin's Bane. And if you don't know who Durin's Bane is, it is Morgoth's serpent. Yeah, the Balrog. But aside from all the characters that we're having in this franchise, specifically the Rings of Power, I'm just really hoping that I'm gonna try watching episode 3. But if episode 3 doesn't do anything for me, I'm not gonna finish this whole franchise because they've already pissed me off with a lot of things in episode 1, but it did make me feel a little bit intrigued by episode 2, only because that there's this one mysterious character that I'm like, could this be Gandalf? We'll see. But altogether is that these 2 episodes, I am very concerned, just because of like the horrible script writing, the horrible, well, action scenes that we've seen to this point, because like, even when you see Galadriel do this Matrix thing, it looked so off. It looked like it defied everything that involved gravity. It did not feel real. It felt like that there were no stakes. Like, it really didn't feel like that they were in danger at all, because that Galadriel killed this creature in a matter of just 15 seconds. So like, I'm really upset that they did that. But I do have to say is that this was a show that I really hope it's gonna get it better in time. But if they don't get anything going on in the 3rd episode, I'm gonna be like, I'm out. I'll definitely give episode 1 a 4. Then I would give episode 2 a 6.5. So yeah, in average, the series so far is, yeah, a 5.5. So not good. I'm just really hoping that this show will get better. If it won't, I'm out. That's how I feel. So that was my review for Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, press that like button. Also, if you have not yet done so, please subscribe to my channel, as it really helps me out. Also, press that bell button so you'll be notified for future videos. And I just want to say, keep on drinking coffee, and I will see you guys next time.